guess his head moved. Okay, I'm calling to order the September 13th, 2022 school board meeting. Roll call, please.
Jessica Redonio.
Here.
Carlos Avia.
Here.
Angela Steckity.
Here.
Laura Coyle.
Here.
Kevin Marin.
Here.
Leah Conover.
Here.
Adina Hoover.
Here. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The chair will entertain a motion to enter closed session to discuss negotiations, personnel, and student discipline.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Conover.
Yes.
Ms. Steckity.
Yes.
Ms. Coyle.
Yes.
Mr. Marin.
Yes.
Ms. Redonio.
Yes.
Mr. Avia.
Yes.
Ms. Hoover.
Yes.
with the approval of minutes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the August 23rd, 2022 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of the August 23rd, 2022 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving along to August 30th. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the August 30th, 2022 special meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I see that we don't have public comment today, so we will move along to the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. 1, personnel recommendations. Charlie Curran, long-term sub secretary. Patrick Pierce, full-time evening custodian, Manning. Cyrus Martin, voice track and field assistant coach, WHS. Quentin Brown, boys track and field assistant coach, WHS. Alma Gonzalez, girls track and field assistant coach, WHS. Paul Gordon, game worker. Megan Stromberg, teaching assistant. Jaden White, volunteer girls basketball coach, WHS. Jessica Neely, volunteer girls basketball coach, WHS. And Casey Cahoon, cheer volunteer, WHS, and leave of absence. 2, appointment of the hearing officer. 3, appointment of the non-discrimination coordinators, compliant managers. And 4, approval of the student tours.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you skip Megan Stromberg?
No,
No? Okay, I didn't hear it, so sorry. I apologize.
no problem.
Go ahead.
Just confirming Megan Stromberg, teaching assistant.
Okay, sorry.
Roll call.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Ms. Coyle?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Ms. Huber?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to move to information and discussion. First, starting with the crisis plan.
So with our crisis plan, the board has more information than the public sees, and that's by design. But the crisis plan, every summer, our administrators meet with the Westmont Police Department, Westmont Fire Department, review all of our drills from the prior year. We have a discussion about what went well, what we need to tweak or change, and we get input from our emergency responders for that. And then we update our crisis plans for all different situations and scenarios. We also put together the dates that we'll be doing the required trainings, fire, emergency weather drills, shooter drills, so all those different drills that we're required to do. And then throughout the year, obviously, then we practice those drills, and again, we include our first responders and get feedback. And then all that information is shared with the Regional Office of Education, and they have it on file as well. And so all that information is there for the board review, and we do it at our September board meeting every year. We present this information to our board.
And there is one type of drill that parents get notice of, right? Is it the shooter
Yes.
drill, I think?
Right,
So
right,
that they can opt out, but the other drills parents do not get notice of.
right.
And that is for the safety of the children.
Correct.
So that people don't know what's going on at our schools, in this instance. But the shooter drills, specifically, parents get notification of.
Right.
So that they can opt out if they'd like to.
Correct.
Awesome, thank you.
And then after the drill, the building will notify parents that today we had the type of drill in case you want to debrief with your child.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, moving to the football conference proposal.
And, a few years ago, the high school joined the Metro Suburban Conference. That conference now is starting to shift a little bit and disband, and so that's requiring us to look for a new conference for football, and one that we think we're going to be more competitive in. And so Randy Kaplan, our athletic director, put together for the board the schools that they're looking at working with for that conference. Enrollments are similar in size to what our high school is. And again, in terms of competitiveness, this should be a very competitive conference for us as well. And, you know, if the board would like additional information about the proposed conference, or if you'd like to have further discussion, we can invite the high school admin to a board meeting to discuss it. But if there's no strong objections, the high school would like to move forward with the conference.
Do you know why, or the background on why that other conference is disbanding?
It is because there's definitely a disparity in levels, and even for the schools whose programs are more successful, it's hurting them to be playing teams that are not as successful, because the IHSA uses a point system to determine playoff eligibility. And then obviously for small schools like ours, who were struggling to actually maintain our football program, to have our students compete against larger schools, larger teams, it puts our students at a disadvantage, not only competitive-wise, but also health and safety as well.
And I know a previous concern a couple of years ago was the range. And I don't know all of these schools, so I apologize, but the range that these schools are in, so where our kids are going to compete, and the amount of distance they're traveling just to compete.
You know, there are definitely will be some travel times with a couple of schools, but the majority of the schools are within close proximity to us.
Do you know which one, Kevin, is the furthest down here?
I think it would be
St. Petey?
Gardner South Wilmington. Dwight
Oh.
Gardner South Wilmington would be the furthest.
Where is that?
That's south and a little bit west. It's like far south Will County, I believe it's in.
St. Bede is in LaSalle County.
Pardon me?
St. Bede is in LaSalle County. That's
Yeah, that would be a drive as well.
that's a long way away. I know, I drove it for
Yeah.
10 years.
The nice thing is with football, you play the team once, you know, so it's not like
This is
other
football
sports.
only, right?
Yes, this would be for football.
Is it football only for now? And then potentially this conference could be our athletic conference overall, or is this?
This would be for football. What they're looking at is possibly creating like tournaments or invitationals in the other sports, so that again, it would limit the amount of times that you would have to travel to a site.
Yeah. I mean, I know when we made the decision on the Metro, the other conference, I mean, some of the schools were like on the Wisconsin border. So I don't know if that's the same amount of travel time for LaSalle, but it was long. But, I mean, I have no opposition to this for the football conference.
Just another question. Where does the input come from in like making a decision or picking schools? Is it, I guess, a group or kind of a committee, so to speak, that's in like athletics, high school athletics that talk, or how do they come up?
It's usually the athletic directors talk, and they see who is interested in participating in a conference, and then the principals as well will discuss. So that's usually where those decisions are made.
So all of these schools have expressed interest?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whenever we do anything that, like, we change things, it always comes to mind for me as Lyle. So Lyle's not in this. Do we know, because they're similar size and they're really similar to us, do we know, like, what conference they're in, or, and really it's more along the lines of, like, an understanding of kind of what's best for our students,
Right.
as much as all of us support the arts. I don't want to not support sports also, because they're
Sure.
equally as important. So just kind of understanding,
Yeah,
like,
I believe Lyle was invited, but Lyle did not want to join, and there are reasons why, I don't know.
yeah,
Right now, they're in, when originally we were in the Interstate 8, and when that broke up, there were a core group of schools that formed a new conference, and Lyle went with them. So that was like Wilmington, Manteno, Reed Custer, Coal City, Piatone, I think they formed a conference. So Lyle was invited, but I think they want to stay with the current conference they're in.
Okay, yeah, and really, truly, you know, I'm definitely not an expert here, but just understanding of what's best for our students, similar to what happened with the band program, when we trip through lots of, you know, leadership and conferences, and if the students are not, you know, getting as much success, that hurts the program. And so if we're switching conferences semi-regularly or regularly, like, I wonder what effect that has on the program. So as long as we're consistent and we're working to, you know, celebrate our students as much as possible, and this is the best way to do it, then I approve it, yeah.
I agree. I think that, I know work goes into forming this and communicating, so I think they did do the work, just have questions, making sure that's done.
Right.
But I appreciate that work being done, and I have no problem.
Absolutely.
Moving ahead. Any other questions or concerns about the athletic department moving ahead with this from anyone? Do we have to vote once it's confirmed, or do we do anything after this?
No, the board doesn't need to vote on it. You know, the principals can approve it.
Great. Any other questions or concerns? Okay, we'll move along to enrollment.
So I put together the board, our enrollments where we ended the year in June of 2022, and then as of September 1st, where our enrollments are at. The one interesting thing to note, and so when you look at June of 2022, we had 109 kindergarten students and 99 first graders. So they're, you know, a 10-student shift. Those 10 families have all moved out of the area, and so that's, you know, the reason for the enrollment drop. Primarily, we had 593 K through 5 at the end of June, and 562 now as we start in the fall. And the primary reason is because 103 fifth graders went to the junior high, and then if you look, we only have 88 kindergarten students this year. So it's just natural, you have a large group leaving the K-5 and a small group entering K-5. So that's why we had the shift there. But the other enrollments have stayed pretty much the same. The junior high, they ended the year at 278. They're at 296. But again, they picked up a large number of sixth graders and had a small 8th grade class leave the building. So that's why they saw the increase. But when you look from 6th to 7th grade, they picked up 3 students. 7th to 8th grade, the same number of students. So no significant changes there. And then our high school, pretty much exactly the same enrollment. A year ago, they ended the year at 371. We're starting the year with 370. And again, almost, you know, no change from grade to grade from June to the September. So
I just have hopefully this is a quick question, just kind of curious. I know very little other than that, the school funding formula is very complicated. To what extent does our enrollment play a role in?
do you want to?
Yeah, so it plays a small percentage in that. There's other factors in regards to that, such as the size of the taxing body, per capita expenditures per student. So it does play a percentage. I don't know specifically. The state has that formula, but these enrollments don't really 100% govern the state funding that the district receives. It does play a small percentage of that.
Okay.
And I can ask the state what small percentage that does cover.
Sure. Yeah, I'm kind of just curious.
Yeah.
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was larger prior to the evidence-based funding model because then it was general state aid was the driver. So then your enrollment and your attendance were, that was a real big driver. Now with the evidence-based funding model, it's more based upon, they have certain things that they think lead to greater student achievement. And so that's what they fund those things. Where it probably would impact us the most is Title I, because that's enrollment driven. And then also your percent of low income. And then there's also smaller grants like the library grant that's based upon there's a certain dollar amount per student that's based upon your enrollment.
Okay.
And with the state report card, also, the business office submits a spending plan and kind of, at the end of the year, based on enrollment and staffing per building expenditures. So the enrollment count per building can determine the total expenditures in that building, and that is shown in the report card to the community.
Okay, great, thank you. So you called out, Kevin, one thing that I wanted to just point out, the Title I funding, and just to, I know that we have said this, and that everybody at this table says it, this is more just a general, like, education piece of it, is that the Title I funding for the district did not change with grade level centers. What it did was reallocated
Right.
per building. So we did not gain Title I funding. We didn't gain any dollars
Any
when we went
dollars,
to grade level
period.
centers,
Yes.
but it did allow us to redistribute
Right.
the dollars that we had to Manning, which previously we could not distribute them to.
Correct.
So, and then on that same, more of an education piece of it, and maybe a bit of a question, looking at the enrollment K through 5, you know, there is a 21 student swing in size of these grade levels, which has proven to be a little bit more normal than anything else. I mean, the 4th grade at 107 students, you know, and then you've got 86 students at the 5th grade level. So that adjustment to grade level centers allows us to better deal with this,
Right.
you know, without having to drop and pick up, you know, student levels. Because a 20 student difference spaced out between 5 grades is very different than a 21 student difference between one grade, like the 5th and the 4th grade class. So if we were dealing with that between 2 schools, which we have in the past, we might have to make some class size decisions, you know, and our class sizes are all, you know, less than 21. So just calling out that piece of it, that being in our grade level center model allows us to better accommodate these swings, which have clearly are not stopping because
Right.
you know, and yeah, we're a small district, so 20 kids is an entire class size. So cool.
Thank you, Leah. Any other comments or questions about enrollment? Okay, we're going to move along to the summer school update.
And then I have for you the summer school attendance, and it was down this year, especially when you look through grades 2 through 5 and the students that were invited, and then the actual attendance. Families reported, again, similar to last year, that you know, conflicts with vacations, camps. There might be a little bit of COVID fatigue as well from the last couple of years. That's why families opted not to attend. The STEM program is open to any students, so and obviously that, you know, there's a lot of interest in that, so the attendance was high there. Again, the junior high doesn't really necessarily target students, but opens it up to other students. The accelerated math, that's to get into the accelerated 8th grade math, and so typically that does see a lot of students sign up for that. And of the 25 that signed up for it, 24 did qualify for the accelerated. High school credit recovery, that's specific students who are behind credits, and so the students who were invited did attend. And then the high school team, that's open to the students who are, that's their schedule as high school team, and the 22 students who are in there attended that. And then the human geography, that again is open to any freshman who has AP Human Geography, and 40 students attended that. So those numbers look pretty good. But we're definitely going to be taking a look at how we're communicating and encouraging students to attend, those students who we really would like to see involved in our ELA and math.
Is it still half-day?
Yes, it's 8:30 to 11:30, 4 days a week for 3 weeks.
Okay, because I feel like that, you know, I know when I had elementary age kids, that timing made it really challenging because transportation and coverage for the rest of the day if you're a working
Yeah.
parent and all of that good stuff. So I wonder if I don't know if there's a way to like survey parents to
We
know
could.
for sure what's happening so that,
Sure.
I don't know how we solve for that as a district,
Yeah.
but I feel like if that's what's preventing,
Right.
you know, maybe something coordinated with the park district, if that's the main camp that kids are going to, or something of that, to that effect, if we can help improve
You know, yeah, that's,
those interventions.
that's come up before, Laura.
Yeah.
I know the half-day and that being problematic for some parents. So that's something we can definitely survey parents and then take a look at that
Yeah.
and see if there's some way we can augment it so that it's more attractive for
Yeah.
working parents.
It's easier.
I can definitely understand the COVID fatigue. I think we had a little, being able to go, you know, have family time without that COVID. Even like without restrictions, there's still restrictions on yourself and your family, but it still makes me concerned because it is coming out of COVID. And so these are students that, you know, I predict may need that extra work coming out of COVID if they didn't get some of the resources during the year. So do we know, like, for those children that they were concerned enough to invite, are they still following in a way to say, I guess be on guard about their progress?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they know who those students are and they'll provide additional support during the school year for those students, for sure.
So admittedly, I think I only had one normal summer as a parent pre-COVID, so I'm not sure how this all worked pre-COVID, but we were not invitation-based pre-COVID. It was like, yes, there were some kids who got an invitation and highly encouraged to attend, but anybody who was interested in some, you know, summer school activity for their kids could attend prior to COVID.
Right.
How do we, and I don't know if we've done this or will do this, how does this kind of participation compare with those like pre-COVID numbers? And I'm specifically like thinking about the STEM piece,
Right.
because that there, obviously a lot of interest in STEM, which, you know, well deserved. It was a great class. But kind of just thinking about that aggregate of like, I don't know that the last 2 summers, because they were invite only and so specifically focused on kids because of COVID, like how those compare into this year, and just thinking through like.
Right. Prior to the last couple of years, before the targeted program, it was more project-based, more enrichment-based, and so the attendance was higher. You know, in some cases, we would have two sections of a grade level because of the interest at a certain grade level. So definitely the targeted program, looking at more students who have some gaps in their learning, it's not as exciting, and so the attendance has dropped off when we shifted to that.
Yeah, and then the other piece, and Laura pointed out kind of the park district piece of it. I know that our park district, at least from the parents that I talk to, struggle with it's all or nothing, right? It is 5 days all day for a week or nothing at all. And so maybe we can continue to like, or have some conversations with the park district around like a half day rate, you know, for, or even, you know, I know that neighboring park districts do like a choose your day situation on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Tuesday, Thursday. And for parents during the summer, that is very interesting. And so I've known of more parents that have chosen some of those options, which have then kind of taken out, okay, well, we're not going to do because I need all day care. And this park district offers, you know, the all day care on the days that I need it. So, and maybe just starting those conversations with the park district along, like, maybe we can do a half day in partnership with them. Because that is a challenge for a lot of folks, kind of the all or nothing. And I know that we have no control over that, but we can partner and
Right,
we can,
right. We can have
we
the
can have
conversation.
conversations,
Right.
you know, and because growing this is definitely, getting it back up to par would be great.
I think before we start deciding or prescribing, I mean, you're just offering a suggestion, I get that, but what Laura said before about understanding the whys, right? That's, to me, the most fundamental thing and the most clear, actionable next step is, there are, by my count here, about 50 kids that we wanted to attend and didn't. So that's 50 different explanations, or 50 explanations that have a common thread to them as to what might get 20 of them in, what might get 30 of them in. And if it's, oh, I would love to, but I just need half a day of summer camp and half a day of school, or something like that, then it just, knowing it, not guessing it, but knowing it, having the data would be very, very helpful. So, yeah, trying to figure it out by offering something slightly different next year is good, but knowing why
Right, exactly,
is better.
Yeah.
definitely.
Any other questions? All right. Moving along to the superintendent's report.
So a couple items in my report. One is, we were able to, originally it was tentative, but now definitely we are having a vaccination clinic with Westmont Pharmacy. This will be to provide the newest vaccine for COVID-19. And this will be available to children and adults to attend. It's set for Saturday, September 24th at Westmont Junior High. The clinic will run from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we'll be sending out a link for people to register for an appointment. We'll be getting that out to our school families and to our staff as well. So hopefully people will take advantage of that opportunity.
Do you know the age group and the actual age? And is it boosters or what?
I think it's considered a booster, but it's the new, the vaccine that my understanding is it's preventative versus the last vaccines would ease symptoms if you did, get COVID. This is more preventative. So.
And just want to know if it's 6 or 12, Okay.
I don't know. I can find out. And we'll include that in the information, what age groups it's for.
But in theory, it's available to anyone who's eligible.
Right. It will be available to anybody who's eligible. Right. And then the other piece of information that kind of snuck up on us is that April 4th, 2023, is a consolidated election, which will also include local school boards. Our district will have 3 seats that we have for election. And the packets will be available 7 days prior to the day that you can start circulating. Well, Tuesday, September 20th is you can start circulating. Today's 7 days prior. So the packets are now available. And I believe you can go online and download those. You don't have to go into the DuPage County Board of Election.
Super easy.
So you can download those, and if you're interested, you circulate those, you get your signatures, and then you need to file starting Monday, December 12th through Monday, December 19th. You need to file with DuPage County Board of Elections, not the school district, but you go to the DuPage County Board of Elections to file. And then if you complete the packet, you get your signatures, then you will appear on the ballot for the April 4th election.
And where
It
is that?
50 signatures, if I recall? Yeah?
I believe so.
Registered voters
Correct. In the district.
in the district.
Right.
And just definitely follow the steps with, because they also, once you have the signatures, they have all the steps in there, so online on what to do once you have those signatures.
When you say online, you mean DuPage County?
Yeah.
The Board of Elections has it, but IASB is also offering a seminar on it. I believe I posted it the other day. I think it is on the 15th. I'm sorry, let me pull up the Instagram here.
We'll put a link on.
I was just going to say, I think the reason I'm asking the question is not because I don't know where to go. It's because I want anyone who's listening or watching to know exactly where they can find the link. If we had it on our own website, a link to the thing, that would be really great.
That's
Better, yeah.
And it usually is,
Yeah, that's what we've done in the past, just a quick blurb about the election, 3 seats, with the link for people who want additional information and for the packet. We'll have that on our
That would
webpage.
be
And what
fantastic.
Ange is saying, I think is really good, that I did, was the seminar on how to start the process.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
A link to that too.
Yeah.
did you find the date?
Yeah, No, I didn't.
September 15th
September 15th, it's
at noon, and it
noon.
is a live stream. Registration is available for members, but not required. It was in the latest IASB email. Do you want me to send that to you? The link? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, they were posting it on their Facebook as well, and I shared it to our District 201 friends and the local Westmont Facebook page.
Exciting.
I know.
Guess it depends on who you are.
It was exciting when I did it, like, so, anybody who's interested.
All right. Move to board reports. Are there any board reports?
Yes. Leah is more. Leah's a little more established in speaking about these things, but we recently had a finance committee meeting to discuss the budget that we will be seeing next week. That was the main focus of that, and then the starting ideas on the pool. And we did discuss the 10-year life survey that's going to happen, so we can see what projects are in the buildings and an estimate of how much they're gonna cost, where we can prioritize and all of that fun stuff. And I'm not sure, we should just announce, we did sign for the bid for the air conditioning for the junior high. That happened 2 weeks ago. So it is, the wheels are turning.
Yep.
The wheels are turning for
Right.
the air conditioning, so.
Yeah. Joe does not have an update yet on the chillers. That's still the concern. And yeah, we talked about pool and facilities, 10-year plan, and we talked about, you know, making sure that we get great stakeholder feedback, but also the importance of understanding from the architects what we're looking at as far as work-wise for the next 10 years before we start asking people if they want a pool or not, because we need to understand if it is even economically feasible. All of the options have factors to them, and there's liability factors, there's safety factors, you know, that might push us to need to be a little bit ready sooner, but our architects have started, right? Cashman has started.
Well, we have a meeting Friday to
Okay.
really draw down to the blueprint of the cap plan. So that'll happen this Friday.
Awesome.
Yeah. And everybody's invited to attend finance
Yes.
meetings and facilities meetings. They're super fun.
And PR meetings, so you
PR
can see
meetings.
what we're posting about.
Awesome. All right. There's no public comment, so we'll move to future meetings and events. There's a joint PTO meeting, September 22nd at 6 p.m. at Manning Elementary. And then our next CUSD 201 regular board meeting will be September 27th
What that is.
at 6 p.m. in Village Hall.
Sorry, Adina, we're not sure what the joint PTO meeting is, but there
Okay.
is a junior high
There is.
PTO meeting
Yeah,
tomorrow
Manning and Manning
night.
is normally the
I
first
can answer
Monday.
that.
Okay, Kevin's got the answer.
So the joint PTO meeting, what we do is twice a year, I invite the officers from our different parent groups. So the PTOs, the,
I've attended those during
yeah,
the day.
the boosters, music boosters, athletic boosters, and our admin, and we meet. And usually I share with them some information about the district, but then also it's the opportunity for each of the groups to talk a little bit about some of the things, the activities that they'll be doing throughout the year, so each of our groups can support each other, and there isn't a doubling of efforts. And so we do it in the fall, and we'll do it again after the first of the year, so that there's some communication between our parent groups.
Nice.
Awesome.
And please state again, junior high.
Junior high PTO meeting is tomorrow night, 7 p.m. at the Media Center. And junior high parents, if they'd like, it's coffee talk with Miss Quattrone. She'll be there at 6 to hang out, talk with parents before the PTO meeting.
Right. So there's no additional closed session items. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn the September 13th, 2022 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?